In case you were wondering what goes into running 100 miles from one point to another, I've got all my stuff laid out to give you an idea of what I go through whenever I check stuff off of my checklist and get packed and prepare. And as I like to say, if anything's worth preparing for, it's worth over preparing. So let's take a look. First and foremost is pineapple pizza. This is my go-to. This is my favorite food. This has carbs, has deliciousness, and I love it. So tomorrow through Sunday night, it's going to be, tomorrow morning it's going to be about 50 degrees. It's going to get up to about 65 degrees in the middle of the day. And then it's going to drop down to about 45 on Sunday. So I had to pack quite a few options. And this is all stuff that I'm going to be, it's going to be in a bag in the road crew vehicle because I'm going to have to change a lot. It's going to be cold, so I've brought a bunch of long sleeve moisture wicking shirts. I don't go anywhere without my Ocala Triathletes wicking shirts. So this will be for warm weather. Got my favorite shorty shorts for when it's warm. And if it gets cold enough, we're going to put on some joggers and even a thermal shirt if I need it. Since it's worth overpacking, I've got my favorite compression socks. Sorry, they're ugly and dirty. Dirty looking. They're clean, I promise. One pair, then another pair if I need those for backup. And if those blow out on me or if they get nasty, I got even more socks, because why not? It's going to be cold in the morning and late at night, so I got my thermal gloves. These work really good on my bike too. Got Rosie the Riveter with me. She's going to keep me motivated. I'm going to be out in the sun all day, so I got to have a hat. And if it gets cold, I got to have a thermal hat. And of course, my favorite Hokas. And then if those blow out on me or if something happens, bring my backup Hokas. Might wear those at night. Bring my favorite pack with me that holds lots of hydration. And if something happens to that, I got a backup pack and a multi-tool just because. Don't judge me. And of course, sunscreen, because I'm going to be in the sun all stinking day. Band-Aids, typical kind of stuff. At night, we have to wear a 360-degree reflective vest. So I got that. Made sure to get a nice bright pink, because I like pink. I'm going to run with a headlamp. We don't have to have them, but I like it because there's a red light on it. But I like it because it's super bright. That's really good for my night runs that I have to do sometimes. It's really good for letting cars know you're coming. And I'll even have a tail light to let the cars know if they're coming up behind me that I'm there. And this, since I'm going to be running so long that I'm going to outlast my Garmin, I'm going to have to charge it on the run. But I did test it out and I'll be able to charge it without losing GPS, so that shouldn't be a problem. And because I'm over preparing and I don't want to get lost, I printed and laminated the whole course map or the course guide, and I'm going to carry these with me. And I'm going to have turn-by-turn guide instructions on my Garmin. So between that and my road crew, I shouldn't get lost. Shouldn't. And then, of course, I got some stuff for my road crew. Got vests for them. I got a mag light for them. And this is brighter than the sun. That's going to keep them lit up. Make sure people see them on the side of the road. And then we get to the food. I might eat all of this. I don't know. I've got a gallon container of rice, jasmine rice, weighs a ton. This whole tub of hummus might be gone. I've got enough bread for a ton of sandwiches and some avocados because I love avocado sandwiches. Bananas, of course. My expensive Gatorade that I mixed up, I got a gallon of that. I'll probably have to mix up more. Craisins, because they go really good with peanuts in a trail mix. That doesn't need any explanation, just in case. Same. I posted, if you follow me personally, I posted a picture of this. This is one of an endurance runner's best friends, and Ironman also. This stuff comes in really handy when you're really far into a race and you've been drinking Gatorade all day, water all day, or some kind of salty stuff, and you might have an upset stomach. Sip on one of these while you're running, burp up whatever gas you got in there. Plus it tastes really good and it's got some caffeine and sugar in it. Got some fruit. Probably gonna need some fruit. It's gonna be cold outside, and if you're like me, whenever you run in the cold, I call it runner's cough. I don't know if that's really a thing, but I hate it. I can't stop coughing. So like once the cold air gets in my lungs, I hate it. So I got that. Saltines, underrated running snack. When you're eating gels all day and I don't know, if you eat a lot of different kind of stuff all day, you might upset your stomach. Something nice and plain like saltines, it's really good. It's got some salt and it'll just soak up whatever's in your stomach. Guac, because who doesn't love guac? And some tomatoes. And last but not least, this too. This is another endurance athlete's best friend. Vegetable broth or chicken broth, some kind of broth. If you've run Ironman or if you've seen someone talk about Ironman, I guarantee they mentioned the warm broth towards the end of the race, towards the end of that marathon. It's dark outside. It might be getting a little cool. You've been drinking cold fluids all day, probably something sweet, salty like Gatorade. But once you get a little cup of this warm broth, they give it out to the in the aid stations towards the end of the run. It's a game changer. It's different on your palate. It still gives you the sodium, and I don't know what it is. It's a huge emotional boost. Something about it just makes you feel really good. So that's going to come in handy in the middle of the night, especially when it gets really cold. So that's all the stuff that I have to go through and check off my list whenever I do stuff like this. It's not just putting on some shoes and grabbing some fluids and running. You really got to prepare for the worst and prepare for the worst, prepare for the best, just prepare for everything. So thanks, Scott. I love these shoes. They're great. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to pack everything back up and get it ready to put in the car tomorrow, and it'll be off to the races.